Hey everybody, wanted to take and make a quick video. Uh, I know everybody has probably seen the police videos on the, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, Takiya. Uh, the Takiya shooting. Miss Takiya got shot once by police, and she was at a croaker. Um, they got video of her stealing alcohol. There's no way around what she done, and the end result was her and her unborn baby dying. I've seen police breakdowns of it, of a white man being neutral. I'll give him that. He was neutral. He was not biased. You could probably look up and see uh, his video trying to explain why, not why, but what happened. So, I want to explain my point of view on this from about, in total, around about 15 to 16 years of law enforcement experience. And I live in the state of Georgia. Mind you, every state, every police department, every sheriff's department, and even every state patrol department has their own rules, regulations that officers have to go by. The training is basically the same in every state. It's they show you basically how not to die, and and how to safely apprehend, get into custody the suspect that you are pursuing, doing it the safest way for you, the public, and the suspect. That may be in a car, on foot, in a public area, which most of these incidents happen in a public area. So they're going to teach you how to go by doing pullover, walking up, and so forth. That basic training is basically the same basic teaching and doctoring, if you want to call it that, in every state. Now, every state has different laws. Every city has different ordinance for police officers that you go to. But the penal codes of that state are going to be the laws. So I advise everybody, if you travel around and you're going from state to state, which everybody has a right to do. Everybody has a right to travel. But if you're going to be traveling, say, with a firearm, that could be a pistol, rifle, shotgun, even down to a hunting bow, uh, look up what state, even what county, what city you're going to be in. See what their codes are for having a firearm, and do it the way that they specify. And I would go one step further. I would call, if you're going to be in a city long enough, or in that county, look up the sheriff's department. You can talk to a deputy. You could take and tell them, hey, this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be here with either my handgun. I always carry a handgun. I have a CCW. Going to be carrying a handgun. What is your laws on carrying or having it in my vehicle? There's nothing wrong with that, and it's a smart thing to do. Uh, I would call the city police department, talk to a lieutenant, sergeant, uh, talk to the chief of police, and take and tell them, look, I'm coming on a hunting trip, business trip. I always carry I have a CCW or I don't. Is this an open carry city or state? How do y'all look upon people that carry? You know, it's always better to be safe in that regard. You're not giving up any of your rights. I don't want to hear that bull about, oh, you're taking away my rights by doing that. I'm not calling nobody. Well, fine. Just know that if you get pulled over and you have a gun on you, you may in turn have a gun pulled in your face. Because even though you may be legal to carry, everybody don't know that. So by getting information, you could prevent a lot of headache for yourself and putting yourself in a dangerous situation that you shouldn't have been in the first place. So you're not giving up your rights by calling and getting advice from the county or city that you're going to be in the state. Excuse me. So getting back to this shooting, I have never. First of all, I'm going to say this, and a lot of people may not like it. My wife had a hard time seeing it from my point, and I get her point of it too. She don't know anything about law enforcement. She hasn't been trained. She's not what we police officers would say post certified. That's going through school, getting your policing license. You are post certified, especially in the state of Georgia. She don't know nothing about that. So I don't want people to get upset when I say this. The woman, the young lady, I think she was 24 years old, at the Kroger's, she was in the wrong. She didn't have no business going in there and stealing alcohol. And she didn't have no business trying to pull away when there was an officer right there beside her, and how can I put this? One idiot standing in front of the car and still trying to pull away. She was dead wrong, and no point intended by saying dead. I should have watched my words, but I didn't, and I apologize. But she was in the wrong, clearly in the wrong. But now, the police officer that stood in front of the car, he was in the wrong too. Nowhere in police training, back when I went, did the training officers or basically drill sergeants is what they are. There's different classes that you go through, and some of it is kind of like the military, some of it's not. A lot of police officers or deputies are going to sit there and go, how can you compare it to the military? It is, but it's not. I'll put it to you like that. It's very confusing. So, with that being said, my 15, just say 14 plus years, and when I went through the academy, not one time did they say, go stand in front of that car, while a suspect has it in gear, got it crunk up, and running. Go stand in front of it. They're not going to run over you. Not one time. Not one time. And I have talked to police officers that have recently went through the academy. Not one of them has sit there and said, yeah, they told me to go stand in front of a car or go stand behind a car while the person is in it, the motor's running. Do you know it only takes 1 to 2 seconds to put a car in drive? And it takes another second to maybe 2 seconds to take your foot off the brake, put your foot on the gas. So you're looking at around about 4 to maybe 5 seconds. Now, that seems like a lot, but it's really not. It's going pretty fast. He put himself in a no-win situation by standing in front of this young woman's car when it's running. She's in it, got it in gear, because you can look at the brake light. The brake light comes on. That means it's in gear. She starts moving. But before it starts moving, he's looking at the car. He sees the brake lights come on. He had to. I don't know what was going through his brain to sit there and say, hey, I'm going to go stand in front of it. And if somebody told him while he went through his academy, go stand in front of a car while it's running, person's foot on the brake, it's in gear, go stand in front of it, it's okay. You're a police officer, you're a deputy, you're a trooper, you're a he-man. You can stop a moving car. It does not make sense. Now I'm going to break down a little bit of the academy in a way that you can understand, and a way that is, when I went through and other young officers have went through, can back this up. I'm not really good at explaining things in the beginning. I'm going to try to explain this to you the best I can. One, if there is 2 officers riding together, they make a traffic stop, the one that is actually driving the vehicle, unless it is a new officer and he's with his FTO, and his FTO may tell him to go up there. But if it's 2 officers that have got, years, not with the FTO, but it's got a partner, or maybe a car, the car broke down and they're just riding together. I've done that before. I've had my Charger to break down, and I had to ride with another officer until they got my car fixed. I wasn't part of a big police department. I think we had, I want to say 7 officers and only 5 cars. So we had a Crown Victoria, we had a Tahoe, and we had 2 Chargers. We had 4. Sorry, we had 4 units, and we had 7 officers. We had 3 on day shift, 3 on, or no, 2 on what we would call third or second watch. And then on night shift, they wanted 1 or maybe 2. And that was the shift that I worked. I worked from 9 to 8, or 9 to 9, or 8 to 8. So anyway, getting back to that, because it was a little bitty police department. So getting back to 2 people being in a police car, you see a violation. The first thing that they're going to do, when you see them behind you and they're kind of up on you a little bit, what they're doing is they're getting your tag number. And they're going to radio that in. They're going to take and tell them what vehicle it is. They're going to either do Alpha Bravo Victor 123, what tag, it's what state the tag is out of, what car that you're pulling over, Ford Taurus, blue in color, how many occupants, if you can see that, 1 occupant. But he's going to go back and say DV T 123 after he goes David Victor whatever. He's going to do it twice so the 911 operator could get it. After that, he's going to turn his blue lights on and instruct you to pull over. So while the passenger side, he's going to be operating the radio. He's going to be doing that because the driver is focused on one thing, looking at that car, seeing if there's any movement, any ducking, any, extra moving around that shouldn't be happening while you're finding a place to pull over. So the driver, once you pull over, the driver of the police car is going to get out. He's going to be, or she's going to be the one that walks up to make what we call the initial reaction or induction, basically. They're going to, he or she's going to walk up and sit there and say, I'm with Atlanta PD, Metro PD, Fulton County Sheriff's Department. The reason I'm pulling you over is blah, 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 blah. Can I see your license, proof of insurance? And 9 times out of 10, they really don't need your registration because they're going to go off your tag anyway. And 9 times out of 10, they don't need your insurance because it's all a part of your tag. But those are the 3 things. 1, they're going to want your license. 2, proof of insurance. 3, maybe registration, maybe not. So after that, they're going to, if it's speeding, did you know you was going that fast? No. Okay. Do you have any weapons in the car? Do you got any kind of drugs, alcohol, anything like that, in your car? They may ask, they may not. It's according to, every stop is different. Every stop is not the same. So they may ask you those questions, they may not. The second officer on the passenger side, his number 1 job is overwatch. He's either going to be 1 or 2 positions. He's either going to be at the back of the front of the police car, on the side, on the passenger side, about the fender where the front tire will be. He's going to be right there. He's either going to have his hands kind of on his belt, his duty belt, or he may have his hand on his pistol. Just, braced it up. Because I'm going to take and tell you, you got a vest on, You got extra stuff on your vest like handcuffs, radio, maybe pepper spray, taser attached to it. If you have what we call a tack vest, radios, extra cuffs, gloves. It gets keys, asps. It gets heavy and it pulls down on your shoulders. So naturally, you want to kind of prop up. Your side arm is sticking out a little bit, so you may just prop your arm up to be more comfortable, or you may grab the front of your belt with their fingers kind of like that. They're not posturing up. They're not, oh, I'm gun ready. I'm gonna shoot this motherfucker. No, it's nothing like that. Uh, they're just they're there to watch. They're watching in that car. That is his backup. If something goes wrong, he's able to react within seconds. If he's not at the side of that car at the fender, he's going to be between if you got a back door to a vehicle, if it's a car, pickup, or whatever, he's going to be, if it's a four door, he's going to be in between. He's going to be up at the passenger side window, front door, or he's going to be kind of in between. He's going to be looking while your focus is on the officer that you're talking to. He's going to be looking, making sure that, especially these right here, seeing what they're doing. This right here, your mouth, is not going to get you into trouble, per se. It may get you a ticket because if you're a smartass and cussing and bitching at them, then yeah, I mean, I'd give you a ticket if you cussed me out and you done something wrong. A lot of people wonder why they don't get warning tickets a lot. Well, your mouth can get you a ticket. Simple as that. But it's not going to take your life. Your mouth can't get them to take your life. But your hands can. As our training instructor showed told a class of, when I went through, I think we had a class of 20. Wasn't that many people. And he always told us, their mouth can't kill you, but their hands can. Always know where their hands are at. Even when talking with somebody, always in your peripheral vision, know where their hands are and what they're doing at all times. That's why a lot of police officers don't like you to take and duck your hands in your pockets. They want to be able to see them. It's easy to get a knife, get a gun. They don't want that. They don't want, a lot of officers, and I'm going to say the majority, they don't want to have to pull their gun. That's extra paperwork. Did you know every time they pull their gun, it's not just, okay, I pulled it and I'll put it back up. No. No. It's going to be looked at thoroughly to make sure that they was legal to pull their gun. So this bullshit about, oh, they're just trigger happy and they love pulling their guns. Police officers do. No. Because it's more paperwork. And they could be put on administrative leave just for pulling their gun if it was not justified. Their police department, like I said before, every police department, every sheriff's department, every state is different. It depends on the department, really, and what their rules or regulations is about pulling your gun. So, a lot of police officers and deputies and even state troopers, they don't want to have to pull their guns and point it at people, point it at you. I don't care if you're blue, white, black. They don't want to have to take somebody's life. They don't want them to have to pull their gun. For a police officer to pull their gun, there was a reaction that caused them to make that call. You done something to make them be on edge from probably right here to over your head in intensity. So, on a traffic stop, I tell everybody on a traffic stop, if you got tinted windows, roll your back windows down. Roll all your windows down. Put your hands straight up on your steering wheel. When the officer comes up and introduces himself, tells you why he pulled you over, if he's needing your license, insurance, registration, tell him. Tell him what you're going to do. My registration, my insurance is in the glove box. Are you okay with me reaching to get it? I'm going to take my right hand, I'm going to leave my left hand right here, and I'm going to get it for you. That kind of calms him down a little bit. That makes him think, well, you know what? He's doing this the right way. Maybe, just maybe, he doesn't have a gun. He doesn't have a knife. And my wallet's on my right side or my left side, whichever side. I'm going to take my left hand and I'm going to lean over like this, and I'm going to get my wallet. Just to let you know. Same thing with the right side. I'm going to get my wallet. You know, and if you are legal to carry a firearm, the minute he walks up, you have your windows down, hands on the steering wheel open, or you can have them closed. I mean, it's steering wheel. Before he sits there and goes, I'm such and such with whatever department, cut him off. Cut him off. Stop him. Tell him, say, sir, all due respect, I just want you to know I have a firearm. I am legally carrying. It's on my, with your hands shown, it's on my right hip. I just want you to know. So let them know. There's nothing wrong with letting them know, hey, I got a gun in the glove box. My insurance papers is in there. Do you want me to step out the car? You take and retrieve my weapon, and then, you know, I'll go in then and get my insurance. That's a simple way to do it. And I'm getting off track. But there's several ways to keep yourself safe for yourself and the officer too. One thing, listen to what he's telling you to do. When he takes and tells you, hey, you know, switch your car off, put it in park, switch your car off. Okay. Saves me on gas. I'm not wasting gas. Do it. I mean, if you got nothing to worry about, you're not on probation, not on parole, not on bond, what's to worry about? Unless you got drugs, illegal gun, you shouldn't have to worry about. Why is he wanting me to, and he's wanting my keys? Give it to him. You know, I mean, you're legal. You know you're legal or not. You know if you're legal or not. So, if you're legal, even if you're not legal, give it to him. I'd rather go to jail than go to the morgue, wouldn't you? But getting back to this shooting, I have never in my life, you know, seen an officer or a instructor at the police academy say it's okay to go stand in front of a car. Like I said, that second one in the passenger seat, he's going to be, and even if he's not, he may be in a different car just there to back you up, he's still going to do the same thing. He's going to be at the number one car. He's either going to be at that fender on the passenger side, because you don't want to be behind it because people could throw it in reverse and you got nowhere to go, not enough time. I don't care what nobody takes and sits there and says, oh, I could stand in the middle of the car, right in the front bumper right there, and I can move if they throw it in reverse. No. No. Police officers are trained to not stand behind cars, not to stand in front of cars. You can go on to, like I said, every state is different. Ours, where I'm at, it's called ABAC. You can go and look up basically how they train officers to stand. You know, and it's the same way if I approach somebody on foot. A lot of people ask me, you know, why does officers stand county cornered and not straight up, you know, like this? They're kind of offset when they talk. Well, for one, we got a gun, and it has been known that criminals will try to grab it. So we want to have a little bit of a barrier so you can't just, you know, grab. That's why they stand not straight face to face, but offset. They're trying to keep a little bit of distance. It's not that they're being rude or disrespectful to you. They want to keep that gun away from you. Did that officer have the right to fire that one shot? I'm going to say no, he didn't. He put himself in a no-win situation. I bet you everything that I got, he was not trained. Hey, it's okay to go stand in front of a car that is running, possibly in gear. I don't know where his mind was. I don't know. But he put himself in a no-win situation. When I say no-win situation, he put himself in a position to where he felt he had no other choice but to fire. If he would have been on the passenger side, at her passenger side door, he wouldn't have put himself in the position to have to pull his gun and shoot. And you could hear her sit there and go, "You going to shoot me?" In the beginning, I thought, you know, he probably shot her. Maybe she grabbed a knife or something. But when I watched the whole video, I was like, holy shit. And my wife couldn't understand it. She was going to run over him. I don't see why it was wrong. Well, honey, let me tell you. He shouldn't have been standing there. He was not trained to stand in front of a car with an occupant sitting in the driver's seat. The motor is running. It's in gear because she crept up just a little bit. That's when he pulled his gun. He still had time to step to the side. I'm going to say that much. This young woman didn't have to be shot. Not at that time. He put himself in a no-win situation. And like I have said before, I stand for the truth. I love law enforcement. I'm not here to bash them. I'm not here to put them down. But I'll promise you one thing. If I see somebody doing an idiotic thing that I know personally, without a doubt, this person was not trained to do this. He was in the wrong. The only one that was not in the wrong was the one that approached this young girl or young woman. He done it the right way. He knocked on their windshield. He didn't sit there and go, well, I'm going to go stand in front of him. Motherfucking car, you're not leaving. That's basically what he done. The dude that shot her. He might as well sit there and holler, bitch, please try to run over me and see. It dumbfounded me. It absolutely dumbfounded me. I could not believe what I was watching. He stood in front of her car. It's running. She's in it, in the driver's seat. He stood in front of her car. Who told him that that was okay? Who told him, hey, it's okay, they won't run over you. No, She was in the wrong for stealing. He was in the wrong for standing in front of a car that's running. She was also in the wrong by not putting that car in park, switching it off. Yeah, I got caught. I'm a grown damn woman. Take your lick. You're going to go to jail. You'll get bonded out. Go to court. Do some community service. Pay a fine. Yeah, you won't be able to go back to Kroger's, but you'll be alive and your baby. She was in the wrong too. And this myth that a police officer has to tell you what you've done before it's legally, you got to get out the car then after he tells you. No, no. If a police officer walks up on you and says, sir, ma'am, can you step out your vehicle? I need to speak with you. Pennsylvania versus Mims states any law enforcement officer that requests you to exit your vehicle, you have to get out. That is all over the U.S. That is not state to state, county to county, city to city. No. That is written down law for every police department. You got to get out. I understand there's certain states that you don't have to ID yourself by giving your license to them. I understand that. But if they ask you to get out the car, you have to get out. There's no, well, you didn't tell me what I did wrong. Or what I did wrong, and then I'll get out. Or, I wonder if I should call my lawyer and see what he says. I wonder if I should have my lawyer out here while they're searching my car. Hey, don't search my car. I'm going to call my lawyer. And he's going to come out here and watch y'all. It don't work that way. It don't work that way. You got to get out of your car. That period. Look it up. Pennsylvania versus Mims. You got to get out of your car if they tell you to. There's no debating it. There's no, this is illegal. Same way with a Terry search or frisk. A police officer just can't come up because he's got a, don't like the way you look, or say I was a racist police officer and I seen a black man. Well, he shouldn't be here. Hey man, come here. I need to talk to you. Yeah, go ahead and turn around. I want to frisk you right quick. It don't work that way. You got to have PC. PC stands for probable cause. You got to reasonably either know or expect that, for one, you could be in danger. Two, they may have a gun, knife, illegally. And you suspect them, they've either committed a crime or about to. You cannot just come up, because I'm going to tell you, when I first started, my career almost ended over that. So let me tell you, I'm telling you the truth, especially in Georgia. I pulled over, my partner had pulled over a known dope dealer. Tell you like it is. He was a white boy, and I knowed him. I had worked undercover for a little while, and I knew this dude. I'm not going to call his name. I knew he shouldn't have been there in the city. I'll tell you that. He didn't live there. He wasn't working there. The only time that I known that he was in this city, is he was either bringing dope or buying dope. And I'm not talking about just weed. I'm talking about meth, crack, cocaine. I mean, he was a heavy dealer. So I told my partner, I said, look, dude, he shouldn't be here, man. This don't look right. So we set up to where we could watch both of them. There was two black males driving a red SUV. Okay, we seen the handoff. It was legit a handoff. So I told my partner that I was working with that night, I said, well, you go get him and I'll get them. So that's what we did. My buddy, my partner, he stopped him. His PC, he looked really good in his vehicle when he slowly went by. And I mean, we were both creeping. We didn't just come flying in. We creeped. So he pulled him over, no seatbelt, and was talking to him. Where I screwed up at, instead of pulling behind, they was in a gas station. Instead of going through the gas station and getting behind them, I didn't want them to get out into the street. I pulled nose to nose and I turned my lights on. I jumped out. When I jumped out to walk up to the driver or the passenger gets out, comes around and meets me. Well, the way he jumped out had me nervous. He jumped out like this and he started saying, I want to go home, I want to go home, I want to go home. We just going home. What do we do? What do we do? I just want to go home. So there was one of me, two of them. I went ahead, I searched him. I frisked him down. Well, come to find out, there was no dope on them, on the two black males. But they did have a taillight out, and the male driver, he was a teenager. He did everything right. He really did. The driver did. It was the passenger that acted stupid. So anyway, he was driving on a learner's permit after dark, around about 11 o'clock at night when this happened. And the passenger that he had didn't even have a license. So I gave them a big break. Instead of making him call somebody to come pick up the car, they lived not even a block away. I told him, I said, I shouldn't even be doing this. I'm going to let you drive this thing home. You take it home. Yes, sir, I sure will. Real respectful young black boy, and that's what he was. He was a young black male. He was a teenager. So they asked, why'd you stop him for? That's not my stop. So anyway, I cut them loose. I didn't even search their car, or I didn't even search the driver. I let him sit in the driver's seat. So I take and go over to my partner. After I cut them loose, switch off my lights, I pulled over there, got out, and he took and told me, my partner, he said, something ain't right. He is nervous as a cat. I told him, I said, well, I know him. Let me go up and talk to him. So I went up and I talked to him. And while we were standing there talking, I took and told him, I was being honest. I said, look, dude, I know you shouldn't be over here. I know, man, I know. He told me, I know, man, I know. I don't have nothing on me. Are you positive? Yeah, I don't have nothing on me. Are you still on parole? Yeah. Okay. Anything in the truck? No, you can search it. Okay. I look at my partner. I told him, I said, stand here with him. So you going to search it? Yeah. I go in there, and lo and behold, what did I find? I found a big bag, about like that, of white powdery substance. Get out my field kit, test it, and bam, purple. It turned purple about the time I mean, just a little bit is all it takes. You break the capsule, shake it for just a second. I barely got to shaking it, and it popped purple. And so he took a ride to jail. Well, that happened around about 11:30, 12 o'clock when we finally got him to jail. Well, he made bond the next morning. And he did not stop until he made it to the police department where me and my partner lived, and started a bunch of shit. Let me tell you. They went back and looked at the dash cam video and the audio, and I got chewed out and everything else. And matter of fact, the police chief looked at me and told me at the time, maybe you ought to start looking for something else to do. It's that bad? Yeah, it's that bad. But I was legal in what I done. I don't see it. So anyway, it went to a third party. I want to say it was the next county over. They looked at it, and they sat there and said it was a good stop. It was right on. I mean, it could have went this way, my career went down the toilet, or this way, he done a good job. So I was neither right or wrong. I was on the fence. So that's why a lot of police officers and deputies won't sit there and just come up to you. They can't just come up to you and start searching you. I don't care what they say. But with that being said, I know I've kind of went off topic, I can't even talk right. Off of the shooting of this young woman, and covered a lot of different things. But that's my 2 cents. I don't see why he went to the front of a vehicle. I know. I'll bet you anything. He was not trained to do that. They train you not to do that. You don't stand in front of a car while it's running, somebody in it, and you don't stand behind it. It's that simple. You know, they're either going to be, like I said, on the passenger side of the police unit at the front fender, or they're going to be up there on the passenger side of your vehicle, and they're going to be noticing what you're doing and kind of, looking around the car. Yes, they're looking for guns. Yes, they're looking for drugs. If you got somebody, tied up, they're going to be looking for things like that. That's the way this should have went down. Should the woman try to leave? No. She should have got out. She didn't help herself. I'm not saying that her getting shot was justified. No. It was not. Because he shouldn't have been in the front of the car. He put himself in harm's way on purpose. They teach you at the academy how to keep yourself out of danger at all times, when possible. I'm going to say not all the time that you're safe, but most of the time, they teach you how to be safe, as you can. I'll put it that way. And for him to go stand in front of a damn car while it's running is a mystery to me. So, but anyway, this video is almost 50 minutes long. We've touched on different subjects. Sorry that I went off base, but I don't see. If this officer doesn't get fired, and I hate to say probably go to jail, then something's wrong. Because for one, he shouldn't have went. He knowed better. He knowed not to go stand in front of a damn car and it running with the driver in it. He knowed better. And for two, as slow as she was pulling out, I could have seen if she floored it, you know, but you could see her cut the wheel. She was trying to avoid him. So he does not need to be a police officer. He needs to go back and get retrained. And he shouldn't be able to carry a gun or a badge ever again because it was idiotic. That was a suicide move on his part. So, with that being said, I'm going to try to follow up on it and see how it goes. If they do fire him, I know it's still up under investigation. And they're going to investigate this really thorough. So we should know within, I'm going to say, a couple of weeks what they're going to do. So when I find out something, I promise you I'll let y'all know. Y'all bear with me. There's going to be more videos coming up. I posted one video recently about the fires in Maui. I'm going to do a follow-up video on that. And those poor people in Maui and Lahana. It was a shit show. Y'all, it really was. Those poor people. So, but anyway, I'm going to let y'all go, and we'll catch y'all next time. Y'all stay safe.